Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with yet another Greedfall news update. This is going to be our last Greedfall video for a good couple of days because starting tomorrow I'm going to be slamming your guys' sub boxes with a ton of Borderlands 3 content because I attended a extended preview event for that game. But we have the best bit of news to cap off a great run on, which is the Greedfall story length and how many endings are there. The following information comes from escapistmagazine.com, whom I'll have linked in the description down below, so be sure to give that a click, check it out for all the great information, but I'm going to be covering the highlights here. Greedfall, the upcoming quasi-historical action RPG, will last about 30 to 45 hours and have 4 main endings according to developer Spiders. Some playtesters said that they were playing about 40 hours doing some side quests, but not all of them, Rousseau said, who's the CEO and writer of Greedfall. They were saying that if maybe they'd done all the quests, it would have been 4 or 5 more hours. I think it really depends on how far you go into the crafting system, into exploration, and into the side quests, because there are plenty of them. If you just go through the main quest, it'll be a far shorter game, maybe 30 hours or something. Furthermore, they mentioned that the game will have multiple different endings too, which will depend on both decisions made throughout the game and your relationships with your various party members. I really want players to make choices that feel natural or convincing to their own character. It's really role-playing, continued Rousseau. Some endings can be seen as bad by some people or good by some others, and I'm okay with that. We really want these endings to not just be moralistic imposed choices made by us, which means to me personally, now we're getting into the interpretation part, that this is more of a character-driven tale here, which I am a big fan of because that means that your choices surrounding your companions will influence how the ending goes. Now, I also think it'll be very faction-driven because there are all these factions vying for control of this island now that everyone's leaving the diseased part of the world and coming here. So I believe based off who you ally with is how the game will end. And I like that they're going out and being transparent. There's going to be 4 endings because with Vampire, one of the expectations was based off whomever you kill, your ending will drastically change, and people were expecting dozens and dozens of endings, myself included. And when you found out there were only 4 and it was really about how many people you killed in that game and not whom you killed, I think that created a little bit of strife within the Vampire community, and I can totally understand that. Now, more importantly is the story length. I love how we're starting to get these tighter RPGs. I wouldn't call 30 to 45 hours a small game or a short game by any stretch. I think it's a nice digestible length though, because we see so many games nowadays going for those 100-hour lengths, and I'm so happy to see Greedfall amongst the company of Outer Worlds being these RPGs that go from 20 to 40 hours depending on how much side content you dive into. It makes it a game that you can replay more often because you're not sinking into another 100+ hour experience yet again. You might as well just move on to another game, a lot of people will think. And so I'm happy to see this is another tighter experience. But overall, not much to add on there other than we have a nice ending count, which seems to be driven by its characters and its factions, and the story won't run you too long on the game clock, meaning that hopefully, given the endings, it will encourage you to at least replay to be the good guy, the bad guy. But they said they're not going for anything moralistically imposed, which I'm a fan of because it means it's up to your own interpretation. Anyway, that'll conclude a very short Greedfall news update. I wanted to make sure, as I always try to do with the channel, I respect your time because tomorrow I'm hitting you guys with some very lengthy videos, and I think it's important that I don't overwhelm you with a ton of extremely long content. So that'll conclude it here. I'll be back with more Greedfall videos later on, but for now, this will be it. I appreciate all of your support on this content. I love covering this game, and I can't wait to see more. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.